Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody around the world. It's yet another edition of Gridiron Weekly. We had a lot of stuff happen over the weekend. A lot of stuff happened in the last couple of weeks with both the amateurs, which is kind of a joke because they get paid, and the professionals have a lot of moving parts going on. So, without further ado, I'll introduce you to my co-workers. Oh, we lost William.
I'm here. It's just I don't know. Something's wrong with my camera.
Okay, Bill is here. We have his voice, which is awesome. John is here as well. John, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Other than we're all cold, we're all bracing for Snowmageddon.
Yeah.
So, we don't know how much we're going to get. I think in Pittsburgh it's anywhere from 1 to 78 inches. They just don't know. So, wow, Lexington, Kentucky, 18 to 24 inches. They're going to be buried for weeks there.
Wow.
All right, so we had a great game over the weekend. We all correctly bet that Miami was not going to get blown out, and we correctly bet that they made the correct call that Miami was not going to get blown out, and they didn't. 6-point game. They made some gutsy calls in Indiana. Really, it's kind of a Hollywood story, and people love the story. I'm just glad it wasn't a blowout. I'm glad it was a good game, and it really was. Whew, excuse me. So we're going to start off. We're going to break down this game, and we're going to start with we're going to let Billy take the ACC, and we're going to let John take the Big Ten. 3 years in a row, the Big Ten, 3 different teams have won the national championship. So, John, I want you to break down the game from Indiana's perspective. And while you're doing it, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. One question is going to be, is this repeatable? Not only in Indiana, but is it repeatable somewhere else in the country? And you think of a team or something, and we'll let Billy chime in there as well. And then ACC, Billy, I just want you to break it down from a Miami perspective. And can Miami do anything? They got the quarterback from Duke coming in there. So Mensa. So can they repeat? Can they do what they're doing with all that big line and stuff? And is it a good thing for the ACC, Billy? So we're going to start with John. John, start us off, buddy.
Well, it was a good game, like we kind of said it was going to be. It wasn't as when you look at the stats, it seems like it would be. But if you just look at the box score alone, it felt like it might be a boring game. But of course, it wasn't. You had blocked punts. You had all kinds of things happening. Malachi Tony is my favorite player, and he had a great game for Miami. One of my favorites in college. Mendoza, right? A really weird line, the 186, no touchdowns, no interception, but the run, right? That iconic run. I mean, that's going to be something Indiana will remember forever. That touchdown run like that. And the beating he took, getting his face punched and not, getting bloodied. Just an incredible game. Signetti was, his, whatever you want to say, was all over that game for them, right? It wasn't pretty, but he just did it. They did it. Sometimes it doesn't make sense why they do it, because you look at it and you think Miami might be more talented over there, and they probably are, I guess, when you look at like speed times and all these other kind of times. But then Indiana blocks a punt, scores a touchdown, and Carson Beck had a chance and got picked late.
Yeah.
It was a typical Indiana type game. This is how they won all year, right? This is how, Penn State, Ohio State, this is how they win. And again, Signetti's just this is like one of the best seasons maybe in college football history. What happened here with Indiana? I can't think of a better thing, a better story than as bad as the Indiana Hoosiers have been to this and winning it. And convincingly, right? Beating all the teams they beat in a row from Ohio State on. You couldn't have beat any more blue-blooded type schools. So
quality programs, you're right.
Congratulations, man. They are deserving, as I've ever seen, of a champion for college football.
Yeah. Now, what do you think about is Indiana poised to repeat?
I wouldn't put anything past them. I would. They could, sure. They got Hoover now, I guess, from TCU, the quarterback. I think he transferred over there. I would never take anything away from Signetti. I'm sure he'll have these guys. They're going to be top 10. They'll be right there. They'll be in the playoff. I don't see why not. This is he's going to build this to stay, and he's going to stay with it, in my opinion too. He doesn't leave. He'll be there as long as they want him, which will probably be 20 years if they want or he want. I think it'll be up to him when he goes. So, yeah, I think for sure. Why not? They could win the Big Ten again. I believe so.
Wow. Looking at the transfer portals, they lost his younger brother left.
Yeah.
I don't know if they lost too much else.
I don't think so. And what did they do? They brought a wide receiver in from Michigan State.
Correct.
And the quarterback. right? I mean, that's the main things that I saw.
Yeah, I mean, it's not take a broader look at college football, right? If you're sitting there, if you're, Texas Tech got close, but they ran into a buzzsaw in Oregon at the time. Oregon's close. There's a lot of teams close. Is there a team out there you can think that can repeat this and says, hey, we could be the Indiana this year. We need to spend some money. We need to have a quality, scouting staff. Do you think of anybody?
I know. I the name that came to mind though doesn't count because they've been good in the past. I was going to say UCLA, but that's kind of a joke. I'd have to think of something a little better than them, probably a little deeper. But that's the one that came to mind. Like they haven't been good in so long that maybe with this guy coming from James Madison, just like Cignetti, maybe there's somehow they can catch and become good again in the Big Ten. That was the first thing that came to my mind.
That's fascinating. They probably have a lot of NIL out there.
Yeah.
There's no real website to go and chart a college's NIL, but that's an interesting pick. That really is. They're not really known for. They're obviously known as a basketball school, just like Indiana, right? I mean, they have multiple national championships at UCLA, but not really football. They haven't really been relevant in football in a long, long time. Kelly was there, but other than that, I can't really think of a time, when they were dominant.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, did you think Indiana? I thought Indiana maybe outcoached Miami. What did you think?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think it definitely. I mean the whole thing, even the block punt, the punt block, the whole deal. I mean, yeah, I think every time you go out there, until proven otherwise, Cignetti is the best coach on the sidelines. I mean, I have changed completely from my thoughts on this guy after watching him go in and out of every place and win everywhere he goes. How can I doubt him? I mean, I think he's almost like a throwback college coach. It feels like to me, but yet he's embracing NIL, so that's good. And I definitely outcoached. But you know what? I give credit to Cristobal too, because I assumed they would have lost a lot sooner than this, and he'd have done something. There'd have been something. They really, solidified themselves too as being a top 10, and why not? Why can't they be back again?
Yeah. All right, Billy, jump in there. Talk to me about Miami.
Well, I knew it was early on it was a defensive struggle, but I picked Indiana to win, as you guys know. I kind of looked at it like a tale of two halves, right? I mean, the first half, Indiana's leading 10-0 at halftime, right? Mm-hmm. Nothing really going on. Struggling on offense was Miami. Carson Beck, a lot of 3-and-outs. Just couldn't get anything going. They surged back in the second half. You had those 2 touchdowns by Mark Fletcher, including that 57-yard run, which was phenomenal. However, it was kind of short-lived. You had that block punt by Kamara and recovered by Isaiah Jones. And to me, that was the turning point of the game, really. I mean, that to me was the turning point of the game. Fernando Mendoza did what he did. He went into, he went into manage the game mode and did a very good job. I mean, just did what he had to do. I mean, when you look at it, Carson Beck, he threw for 232 yards, 1 touchdown, but that late interception was costly. I mean, that sealed the deal for him. To me, I looked at Miami. I thought their defense was decent. I thought it was decent in the first half, but to me, when I look at that game and you wanted me to break down what I saw in Miami, it comes down to 2 guys, Mark Fletcher and Carson Beck. They kept them in that game. But that wasn't enough to beat Indiana. It just wasn't enough to do it.
Now, Billy, like I talk on the ACC, what impact does this have on the ACC to not only be in the championship game, but be competitive?
Well, here's the thing. I was happy that you didn't have any SEC teams. They shoved this right up the SEC's backside, and I loved it. It was great to see. I mean, if you weren't into either team, watch it just for that. Just watch it just for that reason. right?
Yeah.
Get into it just for that reason. You just shoved it up the SEC's backside. It's about time,
It's been 3 years. It was Big 10, Big 12. It was, well, I mean, and last year, technically, it was Big 10 ACC because Notre Dame, they're ACC. I don't care. They should just join.
Yeah. I mean, you know how I feel about that. So we won't get into that. I won't raise my blood pressure again on that one.
No.
But,
and then this year, ACC again. I think I think it's good.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, Indiana 10-0 at halftime. There wasn't anything Miami did in that first half that you were like, oh, okay, God, maybe they can win this, And then you just tried. They tried to, they tried to put something together in the second half, and it was just by that time it was just like, too little, too late. I know they only lost by 27-21. They only lost by 6, but like I said, that interception by Carson Beck was costly. He knows it was costly. I mean, you saw him on the sideline. He knew it was, he knew that was it. That was it. That was the game, So,
he did. All right, gentlemen. Excellent breakdown as always. Now we're going to move on to the next topic. Okay. You know what they say. I think Signetti said it best. He said, we're going to enjoy this on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, we're right back to it. So now he's day 2. In his right back to it. But first of all, we're going to figure out if we can do, and this is way too early, way too early. How about a top 5 for the beginning of next year? And Billy, you get to go first. Do you have a top 5 going into next year?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's, I'm going to go. Yeah, I do have a top 5. I'm gonna knock Indiana down a little bit. I think they're still in the top 5, but the obvious thing for me, and I know that maybe I might be totally wrong on this, but when you look at it, just basically on paper on who you got and what you got in terms of the top 5, to me, number 1 has to be the Texas Longhorns, only because you're returning Arch Manning, and to me, that's the way I look at it. That's a sure thing. I think he's going to be better than what he was this past year. I thought he got off to a rough start, but I thought he really played well to close it out. I think my number 2 would be Ohio State, just because I just think that they're still a good program. I still think they're a good program. I still think they can get it done, and they can make waves. My 3rd would be Georgia. Just because they're still a top-tier threat. They're still a top-tier threat. They still have a pretty experienced roster, and they still have depth. And Kirby Smart's a damn good coach. And he's, and then 4th would be Indiana. I just think you're going to lose Mendoza. You're going to have a little bit of changing in the guard with that. I still think they're going to be a top tier, but you're going to have to replace some key talented players. And I think that Signetti can do it, and I think it's going to be a better program. I think they're going to see some transfers roll in, and you're going to see some big names signed just on the fact that they won the national title and that just how they did it too, 16-0. I just feel like that team and program is on the up and up. Number 5, I'm going to go with the Oregon Ducks. Still a consistent force, still highly ranked. Still expected to retain a lot of their guys and especially a lot of their offensive talent, a lot of the top offensive talent they're going to retain. You got to Danny Lanning's still a good coach. I still think that they're rounding out to my top 5.
Awesome. I love it. John, talk to me, Goose. What you got for your top 10?
I got almost the same except 1. I got Indiana number 1, but I'm just going to put them at 1 because I'll leave them at 1. But number 2, I do have Texas for everything that Bill said. Texas, I think Arch Manning started to look like the guy we thought he would be in the last 4 or 5 games of the year. So I got Texas there at 2. My number 3 is Notre Dame, with Carr and the running back Williams and all those defensive players coming back. I think they got 9 starters coming back, whatever. Yeah. I'm going to put them at 3. I'm sure they will anyways because they always get highly rated. I'm sure that's overrated, but I'm putting them at 3. Number 4, I like Oregon. I guess Dante Moore's back. I don't know what Raiola must be sick. I don't know what he thought. What happened there when he leaves Nebraska? That's tough. But I got Oregon at 4, And Ohio State at 5, and I think Ohio State will still be in the mix, and they've had some few good transfers. So my only one I kept out was Georgia, but of course, if I went to 6, they'd be 6.
Yeah, so very close. I think that's fair. I think Indiana will start off number 1 just because they're defending national champ. But there's good, there's a lot of movement, which I think is good. And I can't wait to see Indiana's schedule because then we can predict when are they going to lose, right?
Right.
How long are they going to carry that streak? Because it's going to be pretty impressive if they do. All right, as we seamlessly move on in the show, we're going to go to our next topic, and we're going to talk about what you guys thought were the best and most interesting coaching moves. Lots and lots of movement. I mean, unbelievable. Hard to keep track, really, because you put your phone down, your phone bings again, and bam, there it is. Another coach goes here, another this. So, Billy, you started. So, John, you'll start us off this time. Any coaching moves you liked, disliked, excited for, not excited for? Are they going to steal some players from their teams? So hit us up. Go for it.
The first one that got me excited was Pat Fitzgerald going to Michigan State. I thought that was actually very, very interesting for Michigan State and not bad because now he's got the Chicago connection there. Northwest. I kind of like that for Michigan State. Who needs to be better? I mean, it's time for them to get back to, be a little. They should be a little tougher. They should be a little more of a powerhouse. I don't even know they should at least be in the mix, and they kind of haven't been the last. Well, ever since what's the name got let go and all that, it kind of went downhill. I can't remember the coach's name, but when they had to leave him go, I guess Penn State falling into Matt Campbell. I thought that was good for them because I like him. I thought he was going to go to the NFL actually, and he ended up here. That was one that was pretty. Exciting to me going to Penn State, I guess. Of course, Chesney going to UCLA with James Madison. Now, anytime that happens, you automatically think of one guy, and that's the guy in Indiana. So, can he maybe do, like I was talking about earlier, the same thing Cignetti did in Indiana for the UCLA basketball school? Chesney there, and I'll leave Lane Kiffin out of this, and I'm going to leave some stuff. I'll leave some stuff for Bill, but I did, I guess James Franklin ended in a good place because he can win 9 games and everyone should be very happy with him.
Yeah. The pressure's not there. I mean, he's going to win between 8, 9, 10, 11 every year.
It's not bad bringing him into the ACC either. Yeah. I mean, because why not? There still is a guy with, still a name and a coach and a guy that people still look at and think there's more to come. Maybe there is, but
maybe you got it. He is in the SEC. Big 10, ACC. All he has to do is go to the Big 10 next, and he's dominated coaching. Billy, talk to me, Goose.
Well, I'm going to leave Lane Kiffin out of it as well. I mean, everybody's saying it's a home run hire, whatever. I mean, we know what it is. There's nothing really to say. Mm-hmm. Agree with John on James Franklin. I think it's a premier high impact move. I think you got a guy that's a program builder. He is. Had some kryptonite, had some teams that were his kryptonite, obviously. But I think that going to a program like Virginia Tech, I think that they're probably going to surge. I would think. Mm-hmm. I guess one that he didn't mention was, I mean, a lot of people thought that Ole Miss was going to go external instead of internal. And they decided to promote internally by hiring Pete Golding, which I thought was good. I mean, he's why not? If you've got somebody in there that you think can lead the team, that's already obviously already a coach, not a head coach, but why not promote internally? Why not do it? Which I thought was a pretty interesting move because a lot of people were thinking that wasn't going to happen. They were going to go externally instead of internally. Another one is Joe Summerall from Florida. I thought that was a pretty good move. I think that's a pretty darn good coach, and I think he's a pretty well-regarded coach, and I think you might bring some stability to Florida's program with that hire. Agree with John on Matt Campbell. I think you got a pretty high-level guy with him, an established coach, whole 9 yards with that. I mean, that pretty much does it for me. I don't really.
What do you think about Florida's coach going to JMU, Billy Napier? I mean, that's a program nobody knew about. I mean, honestly. And Billy Napier goes from the SEC to the Fun Belt. What do you think about that, gentlemen?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an impressive hire for James Madison. I mean,
no, it is. That is it is really impressive. It is. I mean,
that's a program though that has been, that's a program that it's kind of, flown under the radar, so to speak. I mean, it's been an up and up program. You can say what you want to say about it, but they've won some games in the last couple years. And
all you have to do is watch the show because Billy tells you exactly how they do it. They do a colonial style.
Yeah, exactly.
There's another one, Kyle Whittingham. I wonder how it's going to be for him in Michigan because where he was the it's a little different than Utah, so this will be interesting.
I'll throw another one out there. How about Brian Hartline to USF?
Yeah. I like Hartline. I like him.
I mean, I thought that was a really good hire as well. I thought, how about Eric Morris to Oklahoma State?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
And I like Hartline because he gets to cut his teeth and he gets to, experience what it's like to be, and it's not at the greatest level, right?
No, not at all.
Which is perfect for him to start off, which I like a lot. Those are great points. I totally forgot about those too. All right, Billy. Now we talked about the coaches transferring. Why don't you talk to us about transfers that you liked and disliked?
Wow.
Boy,
it's this man. It sounds like you're in a windstorm here.
Sorry, I touched the paper. I've got guys on track.
I tell you what, that microphone is super sensitive. Holy,
super sensitive.
I think that microphone could pick up a tick farting. I think
it just did.
It might.
Go ahead.
I mean, Sam Levitt to LSU. I mean, huge. I think it was pretty big. That's the first one that comes off to me off the mind first. He was sought after QB. I mean, right? I mean, very. I don't know that. What about that Mestamaker too? That quarterback from North Texas going to Oklahoma State. He's pretty good. He's pretty high. He's pretty high grade. That's about the only. I mean, I don't know. What about? Keem Coleman, I think might be good. Move from Auburn to Texas. He's a pretty major offensive weapon. Gives Arch Manning another target to throw to.
Yep.
Byron Brown was another guy that. I don't know if with Hartline coming in, I think I might have stayed, but he went ahead and went to Auburn. Yep. That's pretty significant move in the SEC, I would say. Taylor Tatum, Oklahoma to Michigan, he's pretty good running back. So
excellent pitch, John. What you got, brother?
That Austin Simmons. I think he went to Missouri.
Yeah.
That's really interesting to me because when he was at Ole Miss, right? I mean, I didn't know who Trinidad Chambliss. I remember being on the show here. Chambliss and who's playing, who's doing what. So I thought that's an interesting. I'm curious to see if there's anything he can do in Missouri.
First of all, that's the kid that graduated at either 15 or 16 from high school, and he already has his degree by the time he was 19 years old. So he's 20 years old this year with a college degree, going for a postgraduate degree. I mean, the kid's bright. I just think he's too frail.
Yeah,
that's why he got injured and lost his job. So, but I do like that. And the one that the one that I saw and that John already spoke about, where it left you scratching your head, was Dominic Raiola going to Oregon.
Yeah, that's. He's got a double transfer. He's got to do something because that's a mess for him.
Well, good for them because it's almost plug and play. You have him there for a year, so it's they started with Bo Nix, then went from Bo Nix to the next one, then go from this one to the next one. So they set themselves up, but it just seems like the greatest analogy that I could come up with was some people buy cars, some people perpetually do leases. They lease cars. and that's what Oregon's doing. They're leasing quarterbacks. You know, they haven't found one that they wanted to buy. You know, I mean, Dante's good, but I'm saying, you know, he was there for a year and he was the understudy. So maybe that's maybe that's what they want to do, right?
Right.
So I mean, it was interesting. I mean, there was a lot of linemen that moved. There was a lot of running backs that moved, and you had what's his name from Iowa State. He's going to Penn State.
Back. Yeah.
Go ahead, Billy.
I just want to say one thing. I know I mentioned Taylor Tatum, but you know, if I could just kind of expound on that, you know, when Mateer was hurt, holy shit!
But
it's wow, man. Can you stop moving stuff? Because that microphone is picking up. It is like deafening.
I didn't move this time. I didn't move this time.
I mean, whatever is happening, it sounds like a
wind tunnel.
Yeah, it's like. Does it not sound like that, John?
Does it sound like lightning?
I mean, God, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Lost my train of thought. No, I was just going to say Taylor Tatum, you know, when Mateer was injured, he stepped up and you know, he made it easier. He made it easier for that offense to operate. I mean, he really stepped up and you know, was their stalemate, you know? I mean, he's the guy that held it together when Mateer was down. You know, they were able to rely on him, and that opened up the passing game. You know, I mean, it was, you know, but that's all the point I wanted to make.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, Billy, you're going to start us off now. It's time to pick a national champion. Even though it just happened, you know, I want you to pick a national champion for the 26th season. You can do a bunch of teams. You can do whatever you want. And just give a little blurb why you think they could win. Go ahead, buddy.
Well, I might get a little flack for this, but I really think that Texas could win the national championship next year. I think Arch Manning is a seasoned quarterback now, and you've got some guys coming in. You know, like I said, they made some moves. You know, like I said, you got a very, very good wideout in Cam Coleman. Coming in there, and I think that to me, I think that they could win a national championship again, or a national championship.
Any others, buddy?
Man, it's really hard. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of like just craziness going on here.
I literally am standing still. Here are my hands. I'm gonna do this. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm touching nothing.
All right. Another one. I don't know. I mean, maybe Indiana could do it again. Maybe Indiana could do it again. I don't know, John. I wouldn't count your Ohio State Buckeyes out either. You know.
No, they keep getting guys from. They keep getting defensive players from Alabama, which is weird. I don't know why that's happening.
Speed.
Yeah, keeps happening now.
Speed.
You know who's going to win? An SEC team's going to win this year, probably. So I'm going to go with LSU. I'm going to go with LSU, so I can really get sick to my stomach. But I'm going to say LSU will win the national championship.
Wow.
Why not? I mean, eventually. I mean, I don't know how many times.
Yeah.
It's funny how we didn't have them in our top 5. Neither one of us.
I know. Yeah. I don't want them to be there.
We totally just breezed over them.
Yeah, you really did.
I'm gonna go LSU. I think Indiana could repeat. I love Texas. I'm not a Notre Dame fan at all. Ever, never, ever. But man, they have some things there that tell me they might. They remind me a little bit of Miami. I don't know. There's some things. I like the quarterback. I still think them not being a conference will always be a hindrance to them. But I'll throw them into the mix, and I like Ohio State possibly too.
And neither one of you think anything from the ACC. No team can possibly get in there again.
No, I mean, I agree with John. I think, you know, like I said, this was the year to shove it up the SEC's backside.
And
but
they
I
did.
think, and they did. But I think that I think SEC might make a comeback. Maybe make a comeback this next season. Hey, just something totally off topic. I wanted to see if you guys picked up on this as well. What was the whole thing with the Carson Beck handshake thing? I mean, they didn't really show anything. There was some kind of thing that's saying that he refused to shake hands with with Mendoza. Was that true, or I don't know?
Anything
Everybody listening out there, did you hear anything about that? Shoot a comment to us. I don't know. I saw something about that. I didn't know whether it was true or not. You know, when you see stuff on the, on social media, sometimes you can't believe it. But I saw it like when at the game, I saw him walk off the field with his helmet on. Yeah. However, they showed him like walking off the field. It was like probably a minute after the game. So I didn't know if there was any was there any controversy with that? Did you guys hear anything? Because
I didn't
hear anything about that.
Well, maybe there wasn't. I'm sure you probably would have heard about it because I mean, but yeah. So
sure, you were widespread, but no, I didn't hear anything about that.
No. Okay.
Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're going to move to the. I don't know. We'll call them professionals, but I guess they're all professionals. So we had another good weekend of football. Not the national, despite the national championship was awesome. Another real good weekend of football. Some sloppy, some blowouts, some injuries. But we're going to start off. We're going to take the first game, which was Buffalo at Denver. Denver was a 1.5-point favorite. You all picked correctly. So Billy, give me some thoughts on that game, then we'll go to John.
Well, I mean, Bo Nix was great. It's just crazy that he got, that fractured ankle in the second to the last play of the game. I never even would have guessed it. I had no clue. I was just floored when I heard it, I know Sean Payton came back and said, broke the news, and I was just, my mouth hit the floor. I couldn't believe it. He threw 3 touchdowns. Josh Allen, I feel very bad for him. He was very emotional. I thought this was his year.
How many times have we hammered on the show? You're just saying it right now. How many times have we hammered that on the show? Keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was his year because of the way that everything was set up in the AFC. You didn't have Mahomes and the Chiefs. You didn't have Lamar Jackson to worry about. A lot of his arch nemesis he wasn't going to have to deal with. But he goes to Denver, and I hate to say it, he made a lot of mistakes. With the fumble, the late fumble, that controversial overtime interception. Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of things that, but I mean, when you really look at it, really look at what Josh Allen did, he didn't have really a good game. I mean, he really didn't. I mean, he did some good things, but for every good thing that he did, he had one, bad boneheaded, play, fumble, to kind of negate it.
Not amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. And, now you've got Jared Stidham at the helm. You don't have Bo Nix. It's just, I'm just, and I feel bad for Bo Nix too. I mean, here's a kid that I thought he was pretty phenomenal this year. There was some things, obviously, with Denver early in the season that kind of had me scratching my head. Like, for instance, how do you get your ass kicked by the Tennessee Titans at home for the first 3 quarters and then miraculously score 24 points in the fourth quarter to win the game? I mean, it was just things like that they had done early in the season that you were kind of like, oh, okay, I don't know. Maybe this team, but then, I mean, they found a way late to kind of get things. Bo Nix, I thought, was great. He, like I said, he threw 3 touchdowns, but just crazy that he fractured his ankle late in the game. And I feel bad. I feel bad for the Denver faithful because I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel. I mean, I know we're going to get into it, but Jared Stidham at the helm. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll get to that next question. All right, give me your thoughts on that game, there, John.
Buffalo. You said it right. You said it right, Bill. I mean, that turnover at the end of the half was crazy. I don't know what they were intending to do there. It was the weirdest thing. So there wasn't enough time left to really do anything. So I don't know what was happening. It just showed the whole thing with the Bills in a nutshell for the whole season. I mean, that last throw, that was a catch in my opinion, by the way, because it was a catch in the Bears game, by the way, against the Packers or against where the hell they played, the Rams.
Yep.
It is Brandon Cooks, though. It shouldn't be Brandon Cooks, the guy that you got, in week 12.
Yeah.
Had some better receive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just they didn't really give him. They forced him to be the Superman, but you can't be. You just can't.
Well,
it just can't be done.
If I just may add one other thing, you're not gonna win by with 5 forced turnovers.
No.
I mean, Denver forced 5 turnovers. You're not gonna win like that.
No, and they got to be kicking themselves because even with all that, they had a chance to win that game.
They only lost by 3. You Will Lutz nailed that 23-yard field goal at the end there. Yeah, I mean, really, we got to get the this will be I'm sure we'll have time to discuss officiating because we got tons of time. But we're gonna at some point we got to figure out what a catch is and what's not a catch because that shouldn't be different in 3 different games. Correct. That's insane. I don't understand how one's a catch, this one's not a catch, that's a catch. Let's figure it out because these are big moments. And then I got to agree with McDermott. You don't take a second to look at it. You had to force the Bills to take a timeout to at least have someone consider anything about it when, I mean, it cost the game. It cost them. It ends the game, obviously, even with all the turnovers and everything else. That's a catch. The Bills win.
Yeah.
So, and McDermott's not fired.
And I'm not going to mention who, but I heard on Sirius XM NFL radio this week, somebody say, I'm tired of callers calling in and talking about consistency of refs. Why? Why are you tired of that? It's a major problem. And I think it stems from not having full-time officials. Okay? Right. Why are you sick and tired of that? Why? It's an issue across the board in the NFL.
Here's the deal. At least in my opinion, it's not a bridge too far. You're not asking them to change technology.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Now, you're not asking them to do anything whatsoever except for one thing. And Pat Curran harps on it all the time. Allow the coaches to challenge anything. Don't change the challenges. Right. Allow them to challenge anything, and it'll end. It'll take all the heat off the NFL, right? And the coaches will feel like they're involved, and then they'll have to answer, well, why didn't you charge? Why didn't you challenge that? There's no, I don't think that could. There's none at all. You challenge absolutely everything. And I just that'll help cure. Go ahead, Bill.
Why don't they have problems like this in the CFL? You never hear anything about officiating the CFL. It's consistent across the board in the CFL. I watch the CFL religiously. Yeah. It's consistent. You never, ever, very rarely do you hear any officiating complaints in the CFL. I don't understand why it's so hard for the NFL.
Well, that makes so much money traded in the NFL.
Yeah. I don't understand why it's so hard for them to get this right. I mean, your first step is making full-time officials. That's your first step.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I'd love to be an official. I'd do it tomorrow. I'd quit my job.
Oh, I would too. I would too.
It's twice as much as I make to be an official. I would do it in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You want me to sleep on the floor in a stadium? I'm doing it. You know, I am. I don't care. I'm doing it. Any stadium you tell me to go, I'll go sleep there. I don't care.
I would do whatever I got to do to hone my craft.
Yes.
If you're listening out there,
Roger,
yeah.
I need to get my cardio up. I'll tell you that. That's the one thing that I'm seeing a problem. These guys got to be in better shape.
And they got to get younger, John. They got to get the guys got to be younger. You can't have these 60-year-old guys doing this. I'm sorry, you can't do it. You got to get younger in the officials. Period.
Well, what else you could do? You could take your most seasoned referees, who are excellent referees, put them in the friggin' booth.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. Right. Put a bunch of them in there.
Yeah. All right, so we got to move on a little bit quicker. All right, Seattle and San Francisco. John, start us off. I just think Seattle beat them because the Niners just have so many damn injuries. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, it was good for Seattle. 3 touchdown runs by Walker, and they did what they had to do. That's what you want to do. That's how you want to do it. You want to end it like that. You don't let them even have a chance. Just beat them down. You can't beat, and no, that's all I got for that one. They did what they had to do, and good for them for making that end quick.
William.
Well, they run the damn kickoff back to set the,
A lot of gut punch. And just because we've been worried about their specials.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle just dismantled the Niners from this get-go, okay?
Yeah.
From the get-go. They ran the kickoff back, and then it just went downhill from there,
Their heads went down. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you return the opening kickoff 97 yards, Shaheed, And, Kenneth Walker, 116 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. Like I said, they dismantled the Niners from start to finish.
Yep. Excellent, gentlemen. We're going to move on. We're going to go to the daytime game up in New England. You had the New England Patriots and the Houston Texans. Bill, you start us off.
Patriots, I said it before, everybody going into this game was saying about, Houston Texans, that defense is violent, that defense is nasty, that defense gets to guys, they're unstoppable. Guess what? So's the Patriots. Yeah. So's the Patriots defense.
Yeah.
How about forcing 5 turnovers, including 4 interceptions from one CJ Stroud?
Billy, pause there. The dude's way too reckless with the ball, right? 2 weeks.
Way too reckless. Way too reckless. I agree. Marcus Jones returned one of those picks for a touchdown. Drake May, did what he had to do. 32-yard scoring strike to Booty. They just that Patriots
defense too.
Yeah, it is a great defense for Houston, but like I was saying, everybody kept saying, "Oh, that defense." I kept saying, Patriots defense is good too. Patriots defense is good too. Look at the stats,
right?
And they dominated.
Yeah, excellent, John.
CJ Stroud. At one point at halftime, I thought they should have made a change. I don't want to
too.
I don't know why we continue to watch that. He couldn't do anything. He's just not good. And I think that puts Houston's in a really tough spot here because he's not that good. I don't know. Maybe something can change. I don't know what it could be. But right now, that was a pathetic performance because no matter what Houston's defense could do, they had to score if they were going to win. And you just can't expect them to score as well as play defense. The offense was terrible. It kind of was what should have happened, though, in a lot of ways, because Houston did I'll give Houston this. They did a lot. They came back. Remember when they were like 3-5 or whatever they were, and so it's been a hell of a run for them. But they kind of met their fate here. They probably got as far as they should have. But CJ Stroud's the problem, and they got to figure that out.
I hate to say this, really. That just to interrupt you, but that just shows how inept the Steelers' offense is.
Oh, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's hopefully why we're going to get some. Hopefully we're going to get we got a regime change, and hopefully that's going to change.
All right, just keep going.
No, that's good. I don't know. Other than that, it was a shitty game. It was kind of a boring game. It wasn't that great. It was, I don't know. It was nothing for me. I just New England didn't really show me a hell of a lot. They beat a team that really couldn't get out of their own way as well. Offensively, that team is challenged. And they were challenged. They've been challenged. And then you don't have Collins there, and you're running around with whoever you have at wide receiver. Marks isn't exactly. It's really they need something. They got to do something on the offensive side of the ball. If you have a championship defense, just at least get to be mediocre. CJ Stroud, though, to me is I don't know what to say about that guy anymore.
I'm just going to say one thing real quick. To me, the mark of a good quarterback, as you watch a quarterback progress in their early stages of their career, to me, the mark of a good quarterback is somebody that they have a great rookie season, right?
Yep.
And the next year, they do it again, regardless of the film that your opponents have on you. And okay, we know what he does on this. We know what he does in this. You can adapt, and you can do what you need to do, and you can still be an effective quarterback.
Right.
When you look at a guy like CJ Stroud, who had that Cinderella season, his rookie year, and then had a sophomore slump, and then this year really still couldn't get it together, you have to just say, you know what? Maybe he's not as good as what we thought. We got tape on him, and he didn't make the.
He's definitely in a huge slump,
right?
And they don't hit 5th-year option time. So if they pick up his options, $26.2 million, which for a starting quarterback in the NFL is pretty cheap. Yeah. But I think all offseason they get a quarterback coach and they just drill him all offseason because he is a huge, huge liability. All right, we're going to go to the nightcap. It is Chicago and the Rams. And John, you'll start us off. I think Caleb's way too reckless with the ball as well. Way too reckless.
I was not. I don't have that as bad of a feeling about him as you do. I thought
I think athletically he's superbly talented. I just think that he throws, one or two of those just boneheaded throws. Why?
Well, I'll say this: in the playoffs, it got a little more dicey than it did in the regular season for sure. But I'll say this: from where he came from last year to where he is this year, he's It looks as though there's some kind of growth going there with Ben Johnson. You can see it.
I don't think it's growth. I think he was always that good, but they just did him a huge disservice last year.
Right.
They stunted his growth.
I mean, he's going to win. I'll say this. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. And I said it in our group chat. If DJ Moore is on the Bears again next year, they really need their heads examined. He made one play last year in Arizona when he gave up and he decided to go he did the out. He really went out. He sat on the bench as the play was going on. He did it again in the NFC in this game.
Literally quit on the route.
He just gave up, which should have either been a catch or he'd have broke it up. There'd been no interception. That's what happens. Yeah. And I mean, let me say this too: the Bears defense, they really show. I got to give them a ton of credit and what Dennis Allen did, and from as pathetic as they looked, they played great. As a last thing, because I know we got a bunch of topics to get to. As a Bears fan, this has been my favorite season in probably 20 years.
Yep.
It was as good as it gets. I cannot complain. And you guys know I should probably stop the internet because all I ever do is complain. Yeah. I got no complaints.
You're one of the guys who has an absolute disdain for the teams he roots for.
This was great.
Yeah, it reminded me of that season with Peter Tillman and Brian Urlacher where they had all the turnovers and that's really super exciting there. Yeah, it's just. I mean, I think their future is good. I just think they need to shore up their defense. And they I mean, come on. Why would you not start Roma Dunze and Luther Burden? Luther Burden is freaking outstanding. Outstanding, that guy is. He needs to be the starter, period.
Yeah. They're in good shape, man. I mean, this is the year, though, right? You don't want to go backwards, though. This is the year where you got to now become a perennial playoff team. Can't go backwards.
From the easiest schedule in your division to
the worst. Yeah.
Which is
and they got guys. They're going to be making a lot of roster. I'm sure Jaquan Brisker probably won't be back. Tremaine Edmonds won't be back. There's going to be a lot of things happening. But
Billy, what were your thoughts, buddy?
Well, I'll make it quick. Ed, I kind of agree with you. I think that Caleb Williams, he got a little too cute at the end there. Hey, what he did to force overtime with that miraculous touchdown pass to Cole Kmet was just nothing but magical, on a 4th and 4. But ultimately, you threw three interceptions in that loss, and you just you got a little too cute with the football. And I said that. I texted you guys that. Yeah. It was a tough one, but listen, he did a tremendous job. He did better than what I thought he was going to do, but unfortunately, they weren't able to advance.
Yeah, he's headed to Cancun like all the other 28 teams. All right, next topic. We're going to start with the AFC Championship game. So we know our championship. It's one of the better weekends. You have the championship weekend this weekend. If you're a football nerd like me, you're going to watch the Senior Bowl from Mobile, Alabama on Saturday, and then you're going to watch the championship games on Sunday. So it's kind of a really cool juxtaposition. So. Which I think is going to be fun. Or maybe they'll push the Senior Bowl next week. Maybe it's next week. Anyway, I digress. We'll start AFC Championship. Billy, start us off with the AFC Championship. I mean, the luck of the Patriots, right? No Nico Collins, no Bo Nix. I mean, honest to goodness, if they don't make it to the Super Bowl, which will be their 12th appearance in the Super Bowl, I think they failed. What do you think, Bill?
Sorry. Oh, tremendously, yeah. I mean, I'm going to say this. This should be a win for the New England Patriots. They're going, you had a dominant divisional victory over Houston. You're going into Denver. You like you said, you're not facing Bo Nix. You got Jared Stidham. People are saying, well, Jared Stidham's won some games. I got it, but it's just not. It's just not the same. It's not going to be the same offense. It's going to be, Patriots defense is historically stingy. They're allowing right now in rushing, they're allowing 2.03 yards per carry this postseason, and they've allowed 0 rushing touchdowns. They're just tough, and it's going to be a long day, I think, for Denver. I think, unfortunately, the end of the road is going to be there for them. I have the Patriots winning this game. Drake May, I don't think he's going to not have to do a whole lot in this game. I mean, I think if he just plays good and takes care of the football, they win this game. They win this game easily.
Yeah. John, thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're going to need extra possessions, Denver, right? They're going to need some defensive scores. They need some crazy stuff to happen, some punt returns, something like that. And also, I think if Stidham can get if he has a QBR rating of 85 or better, just at 85 or better, that's Bo Nix. So if he can keep it around there, and maybe somehow you get some craziness, maybe, I don't know, but chances are New England's winning this game. It's too bad. It's a shame because I really think Denver would have won if Bo Nix was here. But
agreed. Totally agree.
Combining two questions essentially. So you guys both have New England. They're favored by 4.5. You both have New England covering the spread as well.
I'm going to go Denver. Give me the points in Denver because I'm going to go Stidham will be able to keep that percent. I don't think he's going to be a liability. I think he can manage. It won't be enough because they're going to force him to win, but I think they can keep it. The defense, if it's that good, they should be able to keep it that tight.
Wow. Bill.
I don't think that. I think, yeah. I don't think that. No.
Billy says no. All right.
Wishful thinking here.
Go to the next game. You have Santa Louis going to their division foe. They split the regular season, and I think Niners won the first game, or Rams won the first game, and the Seahawks won the second game. So I don't know what that tells you. But anyway, John, start us off. What do you think? Who do you like, and who's winning that?
I like the Rams. I do like them to win. I think we're gonna get a little vintage.
Seattle's favored by 2.5 at home. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Rams. I'll take the points, and I think they're gonna win outright. I think we're gonna get a Sam Darnold game. I'm looking for one of those old-fashioned Darnold down the tubes. So he'll go down the tubes here. I don't think Seattle's defense will be enough to withstand his probably something that'll happen on the field that he'll be ashamed. People don't want to see. So I'm going to go with the Rams, and I think I do think all around they're better. I think all around they're better if they're healthy. Puka, the whole deal. I think it'll put pressure, and I like the Rams.
I just think Matthew is on a friggin' tear.
Yeah,
an absolute friggin' tear. All right, Billy, who you got, Bubba?
I got the Rams. People are saying, "Oh, they're going into one of the loudest environments in Lumen Field." Don't care. I mean,
don't care.
Yeah, I mean, another thing, Sam Darnold's still dealing with that oblique. When you look at it, and Ed, you were talking about their matchups throughout this season. One thing I noticed in their matchup, Seattle's defense struggled with tackling in their first meeting against the Rams. Their tackling was terrible.
He had 77 dropbacks with 0 sacks. Matthew Stafford did.
Yeah. Wow. I really believe they're going to go in there and they're going to win. I agree with you. Matthew Stafford is just on a tear. This guy, I mean, from where he was at the start of the season with this back issue that everybody said was going to hinder him all year, and miraculously that wasn't even a factor, in the whole thing. It was. I mean, everybody kept harping on. I remember when they were in camps, listening to Sirius XM, they were saying, "Oh, this is going to be a big concern for them this year. This back problem." He's, and God, he's got the healing he's got the healing properties of Superman. Obviously, really? They talk about Josh Allen. He's the Superman too. I mean, Yeah. So,
all right. Since we're combining questions and jumping around a little bit, so MVP, MVP of the league. I think I'm going to give to Stafford. I don't know about you guys. What do you think?
That's my either him or May.
And they could both meet in the Super Bowl.
I think they will be.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about this year's. I wish McCaffrey could be MVP, but I'll go with Stafford, I guess.
And John, that's a fantastic point. Dude had almost 500 touches. Didn't get injured to the very last half of the game that he played. I agree with you. He's so, but here's the thing. That's what happens when you get an entire year to heal, right?
That's true.
An entire year, and he came in strong as ever. To have almost 500 touches at his age is incredible. Which unbelievable. All right, we're going to go to this question, then we'll only have 2 more statements after that. All right, coaching carousel. it had 10 coaches fired. NFL they keep firing coaches over and again. It's such a win now league more than any other league. It is an absolute win now league. Don't care. We gave you 30 seconds. Sorry, you're fired. Well, I needed a minute. We can't give you a minute. We can only give you 30 seconds, which I think is crazy. And I think some of the teams, you got rid of some long-time coaches, which I think is a breath of fresh air, can revitalize a team. Like, Ravens just introduced Minter. We'll see what he can do. It'll be interesting. All right, John, you start us off. There's any coaching – anything? You said no last week to McDermott, but I knew they were going to do something. And that press conference from Pagula, what the hell is wrong with that guy?
Yeah, that was great. That was the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen, and I've
never seen it like that from an organization.
No, that was
coaches move you liked, and other ones you left you like, what the hell? Go ahead.
Well, all of them, all the guys that got fired, I'm not surprised, right? I guess the one that always shocked me was Tomlin, because I never see it coming. How do I know that's good? To me, why would it? And it did, and that was shocking, and that was good for them to move forward. The Bills too, I guess. The reason why I kept saying it, because if you live here, you're shocked. Everyone around the country we're not shocked, but for some reason, everyone here is shocked. So I guess that, and I guess one hire that surprised me is Salah going to Tennessee. I didn't see that. That kind of snuck up on me. I didn't think that.
Especially with the young quarterback.
Yeah, and I'm wondering where Mike McCarthy does. God, I always feel like he's one of the guys that's pretty disrespected as a coach. He's got great numbers, good everything. I thought he'd wind up in Pittsburgh maybe, but I guess that's not a possibility.
He's the front runner.
Is he the front runner? Okay.
It is a possibility.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, I do. Go ahead, Billy.
Well, I really was not shocked by Sean McDermott getting fired. I really was not at all, to be honest with you. What I am shocked about is that he hasn't gotten an interview. He still wants to coach. He has not gotten an interview by one team. No interest in any teams so far, which has shocked me. It shocks me. Jeff Hafley getting hired in Miami, I think they jumped the gun a little bit too quickly on that. They were talking about that, how he was hired, and then shortly thereafter McDermott was fired, and they should have went after McDermott, but they already hired Hafley. I heard, that was a big thing. To just clear up everything, Mike Tomlin, he wasn't fired. He stepped down. They met that following day. Art Rooney sat him down and wanted to talk about the coordinators and what they're going to do moving forward with the coordinators. And he said, I'm going to stop you right there. I'm stepping down as head coach. So, he wasn't fired. He stepped down after 19 seasons, great. It is what it is. It should have happened a while ago, but other than that, I wasn't really too shocked. I agree with John. I was shocked about Robert Saleh. I didn't see that coming.
I didn't even think.
What's that?
I didn't even think he was looking.
I didn't either. I thought he was staying put. Everything.
Boom. It happened.
Yeah. It was just like I thought when I heard it on the radio. I was like, did I hear that correctly?
Right.
Stefanski going to Atlanta.
Huge.
I thought that was good. I would have liked to see him. I would have liked to see the Steelers my Steelers take a shot at giving him an interview. I don't know. I don't know whether it's a Cowher thing. When Cowher stepped down as coach of the Steelers back in the day, he made a promise to the Rooneys that he wouldn't take any jobs in the division. He actually did that. So I don't know whether maybe Stefanski made a promise to that idiot owner that hey, I'm not gonna take any jobs within the division. But I would have, if I was the Steelers, I would have tried to. I said it before. What I would have done was try to get him in a package deal with Jim Schwartz as well as the DC.
Right.
And I would have. I don't know, but
more than half have been filled, right?
Yeah.
Tennessee, Miami, Atlanta, Baltimore, and New York. So 5 are filled out of 10. It's going to be interesting. I think they're waiting for the championship weekend to be over. And then I think we'll see a flurry of interviews. All right, last question for both of you. Defensive player of the year, who you got?
Myles Garrett.
Yeah, Billy.
Yeah, I got to give it to Myles Garrett. I mean, I hate,
Yeah.
He was dominant this year. He got the record, and he did it in great fashion, in dominating fashion.
So the last one, offensive player of the year. I'm just going to pose a scenario. You can agree or disagree. Do you think it's down to 2 people, or do you think they had McCaffrey in there? Because I would think, knowing the NFL and their obsession with quarterbacks, I would think Drake May and Matthew Stafford, they split, one for each, one for one, one for the other. Or would you do, very deserving McCaffrey as offensive player of the year, and then one of the quarterbacks for MVP? What do you guys think? Bill, you go first.
I kind of agree with John. You got to give kudos to McCaffrey. What he did this year, you really do. That can't go unnoticed, in my opinion. That cannot go unnoticed. So I would include him. I think
he's included on the MVP list.
Huh?
He's included on it's him and 4 quarterbacks.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, he should be on there.
Yeah,
like I said, agree. What he did, what his accomplishments this year, and how he did it should not go unnoticed. It would be a crime if he wasn't on that list.
He finished with 450 some odd touches. Amazing.
Yeah.
John, what you got, bro?
Mine's McCaffrey for that. If Drake May doesn't win the MVP, he'll be back another time. Also, I'm not even, I look at the numbers and I look at the teams. I don't know if we really break down that whole season. I'm not quite sure what I want to think of that. But, if I think May is better than McCaffrey, both, and if I could somehow put them together, side by side, I know it's running back, quarterback, but
you're right.
McCaffrey. He needs some.
Yeah, you're right. It's also hard with Drake May. He did have the easy schedule because they were the last place team. So there is that. We'll see, what he and both Caleb do next year with that number 1 schedule when they're playing, quality every week.
Every week.
You can't overlook Stafford. You cannot overlook what Stafford has done. He's just been on a totally tear all season long, and he's had to go up against some stiff competition, no doubt.
Yeah,
the division alone had 3 very good teams.
Correct,
and it shows because 2 of them in the championship.
Yep,
which shows. But yeah, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're done for now. Watch lots of football. Take the advice of William and Juan, and do your bets because you're going to win. And we will see you next Thursday for the first part of the Super Bowl preview. Lights out button. See y'all.